Most people think forgiveness means that saying what happened to you is okay, but it's not. In fact, waiting for an apology that you will never receive is what often keeps us stuck. Today, I'm sharing a different way of looking at forgiveness, one that prioritizes your peace over their perspective. So, welcome in. My name is Sunny. I am with Sunny Healing Intuitions, and I'm super excited to talk about this topic that is controversial and often misunderstood about the healing journey and forgiveness. So, we're conditioned to think that if you have not forgotten about the situation, that you have not truly forgiven. This forces those people who have experienced these traumatic past events to suppress their emotions and their memories. Or they may be feeling like they're failing at healing because the scar is still visible. This is very much misconceived perception about what this actually is. So, your memory is a survival mechanism. Your brain and body remember everything so they can protect you. But healing is not about amnesia, it's about the memory of no longer triggering a fight or flight response in your nervous system. And often, we think that forgiveness requires a conversation, an apology, or a reconciliation with that person. This keeps the victim feeling held hostage by the perpetrator's unwillingness or willingness to say, I'm sorry. So, what we need to remember is that forgiveness is actually a solo act. It's a boundary that you set for your own energy. So, the moment that you decide this person no longer dictates your chemistry or your heart rate, this is a very powerful point in our healing journey. And society often frames forgiveness as a sign of spiritual maturity or niceness. And really, this just often leads to spiritual bypassing. So, this will force somebody to force a smile or, place something over the wound that is actually still infected. And as we know, when wounds are still infected and we don't take care of that situation, it can become a bigger problem. Forcing niceness before you've processed the anger can actually trap this emotion and this feeling into the body. But true forgiveness only happens after the body feels safe enough to let go of the defensive anger it was using for protection. So many believe that forgiving someone means that you're saying that what they did was okay and that they're no longer guilty. But you can forgive the person while still holding them accountable. This is something that people just don't take into account because they often triggered already by saying you need to forgive this, right? A lot of times people are on the healing journey, and once they get to that point where we have to do the forgiveness, they're often triggered immediately, thinking, oh well, what they did wasn't okay, or I'm not ready to forgive, which is okay because we have to remember that our body needs to feel safe to do so. So we're not forcing this, we're just talking about the process. So again, you can forgive someone by still holding them accountable. This is called setting boundaries and speaking your truth. And forgiveness is simply just removing the debt from your own emotional ledger so that you don't have to spend your energy trying to collect it back. We often talk about forgiveness like it's a moral choice, but your body sees it as a biological one. When we hold on to a past wound, our nervous system stays in this low grade fight or flight response, or fight or flight mode, survival mode. I'm watching a crow fly by, which is really significant about transformation. So this is pumping stress hormones through our system when we're holding on to this fight or flight mode and survival mode. And that can lead to chronic fatigue, tension in the body, or often digestive issues. This is where I hope to show you that forgiveness is not just about a peace of mind, it's It's about the literal health of your body and how to release the physical weight of the past. So we're going to go ahead and dive into some areas that we can um, notice where in the body we're holding on to it, so we can work on that part of the body with a somatic practice or other practices that can help release this from your body. Now, the body remembers everything it is experienced, and the data is stored in our body. And the areas that are often holding on to this is one would be the jaw or the neck. This is linked to your throat chakra, and that's about speaking our truth and setting boundaries. So how this affects us is holding back our words or biting our tongue. We also can hold it in the chest and the shoulders, which is linked to our heart chakra, which is about which governs connection and love. And this is about a literal heavy heart because we're carrying the weight of others. May not realize it, but we are, because we're holding on to things that they did to us, and that's our choice. So another area is the gut, which is linked to our solar plexus chakra, which is governing our divine will, our inner power, and stamina. If you hear anything, it's Falcor snoring underneath the table. So with the gut, this is difficulty digesting what happened to you, taking it all in and understanding why it happened. We're not looking at why, we're trying to figure out how we can process it. And then lastly is the knees. This is where we can hold a lot of shame. It's tied to our root chakra, which governs security and safety. So the term weak in the knees is used to describe the overwhelming feelings and emotions that we're experiencing from that traumatic event. When we force ourselves to forgive before we're ready, we often feel a tightness in our throat, clenching in the gut and our jaw, maybe tightness in our chest as well. And that's the body's way of saying, wait, I don't feel safe yet. And the most critical part of the healing process is forgiveness. It moves us from theory to somatic safety. And forgiveness isn't a mental switch, it's a nervous system state. So if the body doesn't feel safe, it will cling to anger as a protective shield. What I want to do is go over some ways that it's safe to forgive and let go. One of the ways is what I call the neutral recall. When you think of the person or event, your heart rate will stay relatively steady, and although you may feel a slight sting, you won't feel the frantic need to run, hide, shut down, or fight. So that's one way. Another is shifting from them to me. Notice where you're spending less time rehearsing what they did and more time wondering how you feel today. This is a really good practice to remain aware of. This shows your energy is naturally returning to your body, and this is you calling your energy and power back from that situation. There's also the softening in the body. So this is where you would check your baseline tension, where you know that you're holding that energy. So checking if your jaw is unclenched. Are your shoulders down instead of being up like this all the time? Because I know that when I am holding tension in the body, I'm doing this a lot, which honestly hurts my neck because I have neck issues. Also, are you bracing when things are happening? If that bracing is stopping, then that's your body signaling that the threat is in the past and it's no longer in the present. That's a really great way to notice. And then we also have the release of debt. You feel a sense of boredom over holding the grudge, right? Maybe exhaustion towards the grudge. And this is the feeling of, I am too tired to keep carrying this weight forward. This is how we know when it is safe. So this will bring us to the holistic ways to forgive and release when it is safe. These techniques bridge the gap between the mind, the energy body, as well as the physical body. So, one practice is somatic sovereignty breath, which I have to put a plug in here. I have a wonderful, powerful 3-part masterclass series that is returning to your true self through somatic sovereignty. If you're interested in that, I will link it in the description box below. Check it out. It's once you purchase this, it's a one-time purchase, and you have it available to you anytime you want to revisit the practice. So this practice of somatic sovereignty breath is inhaling deeply and filling your stomach like a balloon. Imagine that you're drawing the energy back from that past event. And as you exhale, you want to do a humming sound, like and exhale through your nose, or you can do a shh sound through your body. This actually vibrates and activates the vagus nerve, and this is signaling to the brain that the battle is over and it is safe to relax the muscles around the heart and the gut. It's a very beautiful practice. Another one is the not sent letter. This is very common, so write a letter about how you felt, not focusing on their actions. So saying like, when this happened, my chest felt like it was in a vice, right? That's the feeling of maybe like the tightening of the chest, almost feeling like things are like your world is falling apart around you, almost as if you're having a heart attack. So again, don't focus on their actions, focus on the physical sensations that they caused you. And then afterward, physically destroy the letter. So you can burn it, you can shred it, you can bury it, you can even tear it up and then flush it down a toilet if you want. This is about returning it back to the earth. So this is transmuted through the earth, right? And this gives the brain a tangible endpoint to the story that has been feeding this energy within you. So it's like a way that your brain can physically see that you're letting this go. We also have an energetic release of the cord cutting visualization. Of course, we all know about the cord cutting. If you're into witchcraft or spiritual cord cutting, you can tie a string from one candle to another. You can use color if you like. You can always look that up on Google if you want to look more into this practice. This is not the one I'm bringing up, but this is another one where you burn the cord and, or I'm not going to bring up that practice. If you want to look it up, go on Google. That one's a little bit more, there's different ways of doing it, and it's what resonates to you. So this cord cutting visualization is where you visualize a literal cord connecting from your solar plexus, which is about your power center, to the past wound. And then you're going to imagine golden shears clipping this cord, and imagine your side snapping back towards you and theirs returning back to them. And then you want to follow this with grounding action. So you can obviously get out in the sunlight, put your feet in the grass, dirt, or sand, put your hands in some soil if you like gardening. But if you don't have that ability, you can press your bare feet to the floor, or you can wash your hands in cold water and seal the shift. And then the last practice I wanted to bring up was the empty chair dialogue. So place the empty chair in front of you and just kind of visualize that this person is in front of you and speak out loud everything that you've been holding back. This is such a powerful way of doing it. It's like physically releasing this out of your body. And you can even imagine like black smoke coming out. That's something that I do. And then your brain, it often needs to externalize the trauma before it can internalize the peace. So this is allowing you to get the words out in the air. And once they're out in the air, they stop echoing within your mind. You can do this as many times as you like as well. But I wouldn't do it too many times, because if you do, it kind of signals to the universe and to your body that you're holding onto it still. So just maybe once or twice, and then, if things are still coming up, maybe reach out to a spiritual healer or a therapist, because this may need a little bit deeper practice or healing as well. So just remember, my videos are never to take over any type of therapy or medical profession. This is all about self-healing practices that you're able to do if you're able to do them. So forgiveness is not a gift that you're giving to someone else who doesn't deserve it. Remember, this is a boundary that you set that says you no longer are allowed to live in my body. By releasing this, you aren't saying that what happened was okay. You're just simply saying that you are finally okay enough to move forward from this event and move on with your life. Just remember that it's about the journey, not the destination. Remember also, you're calling your power back as you do these practices. You're calling back all your power, all of your energy. And this is a time to shine unapologetically. So set those boundaries, stick to your guns, speak your truth, because you are worth it. You are capable of doing hard things. So, in closing, I would like to see, where in your body are you holding or bracing tension when you think about this past event? Is it in your jaw, your chest, maybe your knees or your gut? Let's acknowledge these spots in the comments. So this is like taking a first step towards softening, so we can start to make this a practice into forward movement of a better healed, unapologetic, powerful, carefree, awesome person that we are aiming to be. So remember that we are remembering our true sovereignty, our true power, and our creativity now. Embrace it, embody it. You will start to see your reality shift in the most beautiful and magical ways possible. So please hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. Stay tuned for next Monday when I bring some more fresh content to you. I am also doing a live event on Tuesday to bring forth messages for the full moon. And if you like, I can pull a card for you if you state it in the comments. So once the live full moon collective reading has been done channeling through, I will go ahead and pull a card for those that ask. And, I do ask for donations as an energy exchange, just to kind of keep the balance of energy happening. So I'm not giving, and not receiving in return. But it is not required in order to receive a message or to attend. So just know that this is always my way of showing love to you and living my truth and fulfilling my purpose in life. Until next week, take care and so much love to you.